Okay, my question is, at which point during the development should you first contact the PR agency? Is that when you have an idea, when you have a prototype, maybe an alpha?
Usually, developers, they do it too late. They do it maybe like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, and then I help some developers with this with PR agencies now in America, company in Russia, and the PR people that tell me, Teddy, it's going to not work very well. Like, it's very late. They don't give it this. I don't think we're going to be successful. So it's much better to do it maybe like 2 months beforehand. Even actually when you go to the beta stage, it's already good. And before the soft launch for sure. Much before the soft launch. Yeah. Do you have a game coming up? When?
Probably early 2016.
Okay. Or we can speak about it after. And remind me afterwards your name and ID card so I could send you the link. Yes.
I actually have 4 questions.
4.
They are short. The one question is, you didn't mention crowdfunding. What do you think about it? Then, in this regard, also, what would you say should an indie developer, let's say, releasing on Steam, globally, what kind of budget should they get prepared for PR? And usually the budget is the problem, so do any agencies also go into revenue sharing? And which agencies would you recommend? Because I come sort of, I used to be in the agency business, and what I in some way feel is also there can be quite easily quite a lot of costs, like the communication plans and preparing these things. There can be a lot of upfront costs for a developer when they start working with an agency. This can be an issue.
These are 4?
Yeah. Crowdfunding, budget, revenue share, and agencies.
Okay. So let me just quickly answer the revenue share. I haven't encountered any agency that would do that. I don't know if you did, but usually they have set fees, and the budget doesn't have to be big. If you work with the right agency and you go for the press release, the targeted media mailouts to the over 10,000, whatever you're looking for editors, if it's a global campaign. And the follow-ups are the most important ones. If you're actually focusing on one dimension, then this could be about $2,000, $3,000, somewhere there. I don't know if that's a very big budget or it's affordable, but with this one you can actually receive success. And I helped DirtyBit from Norway in America, and it was a very successful campaign only with this, and also helped Immersive Interactive, which had the game that made $500,000 in Spain, and I connected with Gaming PR in the UK, and they got coverage on many sites just for €2,000. So regarding crowdfunding, yeah, this could be done. I didn't really touch on investment in my presentation, and crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is one way to do it, and some companies are successful, some are not. You have to really. I saw some successful campaigns on that, and you have to really be all the time informing everybody and informing how the revenue is done, do deadlines. You have to be very good in social media on this as well. Yeah, there's also another aspect. You could also look for investors. You have to know that if you get an investment in, you may have someone that has no idea about the gaming industry, put some money, and then he's going to be dictating what to do, and sometimes it's a very difficult relationship. So you have to take that consideration that you're losing part of your decision making, and you want to do that if you really believe in your game. You trust that person, and work with this. But of course, it depends also on the chunk of money, right? So these are 2 ways of doing it.
Yeah, I meant more crowdfunding as a PR and marketing tool. I know for a couple of game developers who don't need the funds, but they say they want to do the crowdfunding to build an initial community.
Oh yeah. That's I touched a bit in the presentation. That's also some part of the social aspects of the game itself. If you manage to create these sort of instant messaging and sharing on Facebook and create a community page for that, and this becomes viral. That's option. That's also a possibility, but it's pretty difficult. But if you have some success stories, I'll be happy to hear about them. No? Yeah.
Well, Star Citizen is successful for crowdfunding. They raised 17 and they didn't.
Yeah, I know a few as well, but it's not the norm, it's the exception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question about, you mentioned you were working in China. We all know that China is a different market from the rest of the world, but my question is this, is it worth it? The initial costs are bigger, the profit is 50% compared to everywhere else. You have to own a Chinese bank account or a business there, or have a partner that's going to take a big chunk of your money. And
What do you plan to do in China? You want to try to publish with her, or you want to create a company, or what?
just from a publisher's view.
Looking for publishers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, number one rule for China, for Asia, you must work with a local there. You will never succeed if you don't work with a local partner. It's impossible. And even the way the business is done there, even if you create a joint venture or you want to establish a company, it's always 49% you, 51% them, because it's a political thing, right? Yes, on the you cannot own a company for more than 49%. So even foreign publishers that make joint partnership with someone there, they'll always be on the losing side, but they cannot win if there is a competition between them. Now, there are some reliable partners, and there have been many successful stories on publishing in China, right? But there are also many that will just take your money and we don't care about you, right? So that's what I'm researching now. That's why I also joined GMGC, because I have a big expertise on the North American and European market. The Asian one, I used to travel a lot from propagator to GMGC, GMIC, China Joy, and run events there. But since I joined the organization GMGC's role is to create partnerships between Western companies and the ones that actually are relevant in Asia. Also from investment perspective, publishing perspective, all these. So if you need some information on some of the companies that you should speak to, talk to me, I'll connect you with them, and then you see how they do it. And for example, I know a company called Game Plus, and the CEO is Danish. I think you met him, Jakob Nilsson, right? And he would be a good person to speak to, because he has the Western face in the Chinese market, and he would tell you clearly, will this game work there or not? He'll be very blunt about it. Because many games that do not work in China, you have to be very easy to play. And now they're going towards mid-core, but still, it's not there yet.
Yeah, I've established dialogue with Shlomo. He's from App in China company. It's a Hong Kong-based company that actually assists companies in publishing on the Chinese market. And basically, the first problem is initial costs. Localization is pretty expensive. You have to redo the whole graphics. You have to pay a lot of money for the proper Chinese translation, and this is the first problem we encountered just for publishing the game.
Really, because the publishers, they don't speak English. Really? Well, then again, talk to me. I know those ones that would have Western
the
face.
publishers speak in English, but you have to translate the whole game for the Chinese market. Well, that's expensive.
Some of the publishers, they actually provide this as part of their push. So you have the revenue share or whatever with them, but you don't have to pay for the localization cost. And that's already helpful. But first they will test the game and they will see if it actually works in China, right? That's what they will do in the initial stage, and you don't have to worry about it.
So, back to my question. Is it worth it?
It depends on your game and who you talk to.
Hi. What do you think? What's the reasonable amount of time when you start working with a PR company? And, what's the reasonable amount of time that you want to start expecting some results?
So as I mentioned, it's good to contact them before the beta, and also like to keep discussion with them about once you make the contract with them, right? You're talking about when you start the contract or before? Usually it's done with a 2-month period, a 2-month campaign, which can be renewed depending on results. So that's what is a general way of doing it. Some people do it for 1 month, some for 3. I think 2 is good. Then you can test it, and this will give you, as I mentioned, it's probably about 4,000 euros for that. But you can also do it, like there are some agencies that I know that only pay after 1 month. So if you're really unhappy with the results, then you only pay half of something like this. So they give you these deals. Again, ask me, I can correct you there. Tadej, I want a question from you.
I'm afraid
That's why I came to Slovenia, because you invited me.
Well, regarding the marketing, no? So our plan was to do like a Kickstarter campaign, to use it as Gregor said, to use a Kickstarter as a part of the PR and marketing campaign. So I contacted the PR agency and what they thought about it, and they said that actually this would like influence their part of what they want to do with the title. So how would you suggest that we incorporate like some kind of a crowdfunding campaign into the development stage? So this is like the starting stage of a project. Not to reveal too much what the game is about. I mean, we have to reveal something, yeah. Use it as a hook to get players to know it, to get maybe some funds, but not a lot of funds. We just say like we want like 5,000 euros to get from the crowdfunding. We use it just like a hook, and still leave the surprise party for the PR agency later in the production stage when we are nearing the competition. How would you do something like this?
I mean, how to plan specifically your steps so you don't get too much within the kickstarting and that?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the content, right? It depends if you,
But you know what games we do complex things.
And may I ask why the PR agency thought it would be profitable?
I
You
don't
give too much in the
I
beginning?
don't know.
I mean, I think that, for instance, Grand Crew, Grand Crew Studios, they're based in Finland. They had a game called, I think, not Armageddon, but something similar. Anyways, yeah, and they've been branding that for years. Like, they didn't do Kickstarter, they were just branding. They were even paying Pop Gamer for events before the launch. So everybody was expecting something grandiose. At the end, it failed completely. But they spent like, I don't know how much, 100,000 into branding just for this beforehand. And now they're doing other games. They're cool guys, but they just didn't work the game. And then, I think it's important to not give away too much. It's true in the Kickstarter one. But depending on how you do it, maybe you show some sort of levels and objectives, but keep that for the PR at the end to actually make the announcement at the end. But it's very complicated. I think it's case by case. It has to be. I don't know how I would do it. I would have to see the project.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we have time for another really quick question.
So far you only talked about hiring an agency to do PR. What about doing it in-house?
In-house PR?
Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned a bit. That comes from everything that you can do marketing-wise by yourselves, which is branding yourself as a company and as a game, participating at many conferences beforehand, making sure that you target the journalists during the conferences, attend specific events which are matchmaking between publishers and indie developers, also between media and indie developers, and any sort of investor in developers in which you can talk to people and promote your game and show it as it's developing. So I recommend at least 5 conferences before the launch where you talk about the game itself. And then of course the social media aspects, like create your own page within your game, use these communication messaging tools which you can share it to that given page so people can start building a community and discussing it. And just talking to journalists at shows and talking to them on the internet, saying, by the way, we're having this game, can you give me some advice on how to make it? Or use the consultancy packages, which you pay a bit. I mentioned that it's a mock review thing. You direct your game to a media outlet, and they will ask for $1,000 to give you feedback. But once they give you feedback how to improve it from the journalist's perspective, they already have a connection. Later, even like 2 years later, you'll remember it because you've paid it at some point. So I know it's a small amount, but you can do that. But with all the others, you can also brand yourselves. But once again, you have to travel a lot, so you need a bit of funding for that, some budget. Thank you very much for coming, and we're having also another panel on PR at 3:30 with 3 other gentlemen. So I hope to see you there, and let's party tonight.